Welcome back, everybody, to the Birdies and Bourbon Show. Thanks so much for joining us. Got a good episode for you today. We're going to break down the Memorial Tournament at Muirfield Village. Before we get started, thanks to everybody that's liked our show. Click below, leave a comment, subscribe to our channel. We'll be bringing this to you every week. Dan, what do you think, man? I ain't talking about Muirfield either.
I'm looking at that stash.
So I don't want to give anything away because we got another pod that'll be dropping later this week. I guess it'll be dropping tomorrow, actually, about our picks. So I may be channeling somebody for a victory this week. So we'll get into that a little later. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the 2020 Memorial Tournament. So the field, we got 133 players. And when I say 133, it's 133 of the top players. Mm-hmm. Probably the biggest field we've had in 2020. Yeah. Top 65 are going to make the cut and ties. And what are we going to cut? Cut after 36 holes as usual. So first tee, 7 a.m. I'm loving these morning tee times. And the NBC Gold package, I mean, it gives you something to do all day with the shelter in place that's still happening here in Georgia. But yeah, so defending champion, man, we got Patrick Cantlay, which he played last week. And he had a decent tournament, so I think things will be looking good for him.
Patrick Cantlay, otherwise known as Colin Morikawa.
hey, you better double. Yeah, hey, don't give it the 3-second check, man. You'll get them confused and go with the wrong name. So, let's see. So it's in Dublin, Ohio, and give you some stats on the course. I think it's.
And they're playing for chocolate milkshakes, right?
Well, so, I'm wondering if the PGA, they've seen Bryson and, everything's longer now. I mean, that guy's at the top of his game.
Man.
Hey, how can we fatten these guys up a little bit? It's like, well, hey, we need 2 tournaments at Muirfield because that's extra milkshakes for everybody.
I'll tell you.
So pay attention this week. Let's see if anybody's, if the camera is adding more than 10 pounds.
Hey, PGA, call Jack Palmer. That was definitely a missed opportunity. There is a protein shake that could certainly be the sponsor this week. Come on.
Absolutely. I mean, how did they miss that one, man? I mean, it's like, okay. I mean, Bryson's only talking about it every time he gets interviewed. I have no idea where that came from. So let's see at Muirfield. So key stats, and this is going to lead into probably you two into my picks for DraftKings this week. The key thing that we're looking for here are strokes gained, and man, are there some guys that are just absolutely on fire with strokes gained. I mean, there's some great ball striking going on. Sand saves gained is going to be a big one, and then proximity gain 150 to 75 yards. Let's see. It's a par 72. It's playing 74.56 this week. Again, we're still on bent grass greens. I think it's got a little mix of Poana in there. Mm-hmm. And I think the big takeaway, I don't know if you read anything about it, but so they're not cutting the rough at all.
Right. And
the rough wasn't short last week, and they're going to speed those greens up. So, again, not to get too far into picks, but why I picked, who I did. Look at the folks that won last week. I mean, who lost the tournament last week, and what did he do? Other than hitting the ball behind a tree. I mean, it was putting, right? But Morikawa, man, I mean, they were sinking putts like crazy. So, I think the people that played last week are definitely going to have an advantage this week. Yeah. It's just because the greens are going to, I mean, it's the same greens. Obviously, the pin placements are going to be a little bit tougher, but they're definitely going to be faster. And it's, I think it's going to be strokes gained putting and who is hot with the putter. And I definitely went to some of those guys. So,
yep.
Let's take a look at some previous champions here.
Yep.
Let's see. So 2020, although it's not the Memorial, but 2020, Morikawa won last week. And I'll throw a year or two out there, but you got Morikawa, Cantlay, crazy, DeChambeau,
yep.
Duffner, McGirt, Lingmerth, Matsuyama, Kuchar, Tiger Woods in 2012, Steve Stricker, and Justin Rose. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can go through and pull about half of those guys out of there.
Sure.
I mean, as far as like true winners, I think most of those people are going to play decent. I'll be surprised if Dufter makes the cut. Lingmerth and seem much. I don't even know if he's playing.
I don't think I've seen the name.
Kuchar, he's really struggling. So I don't know if the Memorial magic rubs off on Kuchar this week either. Steve Stricker, I mean, he looked decent last week. So and the big one, your boy Jay Rose, man. I mean, that guy is. I don't know. Hey, the monkey. That dude's back, man. He has got to do something. I don't know if he needs to get Hanma's back in the bag, if he needs to call his coach back, but he's really, really struggling, man.
Look at these scores. You got minus 19 last week, and then of the traditional Memorial Tournament, that was the workday, Phil Mickelson with Coffee for Wellness Open. But if you look at the traditional Memorial, you got minus 15, minus 16 by Strickler in 11. That's the highest, or the lowest score is minus 16. Well, Justin Rose minus 18.
No, you got Justin Rose in 2010 at 18 under. But still, I mean, it's unbelievable. You got these kids that are just, I mean, they're just beating the shit out of these courses, man. I mean, now granted, you do see some people, the Koepka gang, they got their lunch handed to them. Yeah. Last week, but. So your boy Damon, so I mean, there's definitely some bad scores out there, but everything that they're playing right now, there's so many people that are just hitting the ball so good. And it's not just that they're ball striking. I mean, they're putting all of their game together, and it's like, they're, instead of them missing in 2 or 3 areas, it's like one area that they're missing just to get this thing tuned in. So I think we see high teens for sure. I mean, JT was on a run to be, 20 plus under until he shit the bed coming in on the back 9 on Sunday. So
what do you think we land this week on the scores?
I mean, I'm liking high teens, man, but yeah, I don't know
minus
that we'll
17.
break 20.
Minus 17, probably. Yeah.
I'm gonna go 18. I'm gonna go 18. I think that again, I think there's so many people out there that are hungry and that that have got it dialed in. That I think they're going to be able to take advantage of it.
I want to see Bryson win this week. I'm not saying that's not my pick, but I want to see him win, and then I want to see him passed out with a case of milkshakes all around him.
Well, he's definitely got to get bulked up. Hold on, do you want to see him win the tournament, or do you want to see him win the sparring match between he and Bryson?
Oh, it's going to be a good week. All right, let's wrap it up.
So let's see. So some of the players' comments to the week, they're really, it's going to be the rough. So it's going to be hitting. I think we're going to see a lot of 3 woods off the tees again. Yep. You have to hit fairways, and you got to put yourself in a position to be able to stick it close, because as these things are rolling faster. It is definitely going to be a challenge.
Very much a second shot course. That's the way Jack has put this thing in, constructed or whatnot. He modeled a lot of it off of Augusta from what you see. It's a little bit more giving with the fairway, but as you get closer to the green, it definitely narrows out, and you got to be sharp on the approach, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's going to be fun to watch some of the, see if are they going to go for the par 5s, or are they going to lay off, and it's right. I mean, we all know, it's going to depend on how they're playing and where they're scoring at. But I think we see Bryson come back just business as usual, man. Just rip it.
He didn't get a chance to play there last week. Obviously, he played there and won a year ago, but that was when he was thin. So it's going to be interesting to see how he plays it differently this time than when he was actually, back to the traditional Bryson rather than the Hulk Bryson. So, anyway, so we're looking forward to it, guys. That's your Memorial Muirfield Village wrap-up. Cal, anything else?
Haven't heard of any positive COVID tests this week, so do we start to see more back-to-back tournaments in the same locations?
I don't know.
We'll see.
Cheers.
Cheers.